the greatest of love often don't come predictably. Sometimes you just gotta take a chance. Sometimes.
Try this on for a resume. Musician, composer, author, screenwriter, actor, and wine expert. Astrid Young does it all. That side of the story is fascinating in its own right. Then add her family history. Young is the daughter of famed Canadian author and journalist Scott Young and the sister of Canadian music icon Neil Young. Astrid, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask you the question I'm sure you get a million times. What do you think of the Nova Scotia wine industry?
You know what? I have every intention of trying some Nova Scotia wines when I'm out here. I haven't actually tasted any in about 10 years, so I'm pretty sure they've gotten a lot better since then.
Not too shabby at all.
Oh, good. I've got a couple of good recommendations, and if you can hit me to your
add a couple more.
Okay.
A couple more you can take back to Ontario with you as well. Kind of all joking aside, though, do you tire of the Neil Young the Neil Young questions? I mean, it's having a brother, a Canadian icon like that. It must be inevitable that you do get those questions, is it?
That's why I wrote the book.
Exactly. Tell us a little bit about the book. Because what's interesting is, from what I've read, is that. You know, we're talking about overcoming shadows. For you, it's never really been about your brother. It was more about your father.
Well, I think, you know, in varying stages of my life, it's been different. You know, my father was certainly much more of a household name than my brother was up to a certain point. And then, you know, my brother got real big in the early 70s with Harvest. But, you know, at that time I was in high school then. And, you know, I mean, most of my friends in high school, they were listening to Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. And, you know, Neil wasn't exactly the cool guy, you know. So it's been an interesting experience that not a lot of people can probably imagine. So. And
your own background was actually glam metal. That was your first band in the 80s.
Well, metal, yeah, and heavy rock, yeah, definitely. And I came from kind of the post-punk glam era in Toronto, and then I moved to Los Angeles in the mid-80s and ended up in a metal band. So go figure that. But. Yeah.
I want to throw a few names out there and just get quick reactions. The first things that come to mind, because you've worked with so many talented people and collaborated with them over the years. Nancy Wilson.
Very dear friend of mine, yeah.
Bernie Taupin.
I haven't seen him in ages. Awesome songwriter, really awesome songwriter.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Well, that's an amazing thing to have on my resume, to be able to say that.
Tell us about that. How did you?
It was a Christmas record, actually. It was it wasn't a Johnny Cash record. It was a Ben Keith record, and he's the pedal steel player in my brother's band, and he. I think everybody was on this record anyway. So it was Little Drummer Boy, I believe, that Johnny sang, and.
Wow.
I had to sing backups on that, yeah.
Oh, and next time I'm going to have to find that and check it out for sure.
It's called Seven Gates. Yeah.
Seven Gates. I checked out, doing a little bit of background research, checked out your website, astridyoung.net, and found some of your 3 examples of your artwork. And really enjoyed it. You can't see it right now, but we're going to show it on screen for you. Valentine, Bunderbo's, and House on Haunted Hill are the 3 examples. Kind of dark and brooding and melancholy, yet beautiful at the same time. What does that say about the artist?
Well, it's something that I do in between writing and making music and stuff like that. Sometimes I just have to do something else. And I actually just did some artwork for a guy, a musician in the UK, who just released a record. So one of my, very similar to the Valentine painting, he wanted something like that in different colors. So I still paint a little bit.
Well, you express yourself artistically. We talked about the resume. You express yourself artistically in so many different ways. Do you think that ties in with the family genes? Is there something in the family?
Yeah, we've all got a real short attention span.
Is that what it is?
I guess so. I don't know.
Does it date back farther than your father, though? Do you come from a long line of artists, or
of crazy people? Yes, I think so. Well, my grandmother, on my paternal grandmother, she was a writer, and she was also a piano player and singer, and she liked to stay up late at night and drink and play piano. It's like, I wonder where I got that from. I don't know.
It's grandma's fault.
Yeah, exactly. And And so there was always a creative streak in there, and I don't really know a lot about my family going farther back than that, but they were actually Jack Patterson, who was her brother, was a writer as well, and you know, so.
I'm glad I asked the question because the answer is yes. There's
Yeah.
been a need to express there for generations back.
guess so.
Before we run out of time, I want to talk about your next project. You actually have an album in the works. It's
Yes.
at the mixing stage right now.
Yes, that's right. I'm just waiting for some people's schedules to free up so we can finish it. But the record's called Integratron.
Where did you get that title?
There's this kind of a weird structure out in the desert in San Bernardino called the Integratron. It was built in the 1940s, and it's supposed to be a, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. It looks like a silo. It could be, it's been tied into a lot of kind of X-Files type, UFO, alien connections out there. It's just a really weird thing.
People are Googling right now as we speak,
They
as soon
are
as
too.
you said it.
It's an interesting part of the world, and something that I'm really drawn to for some odd reason.
Very cool. I'll be checking it out here a little later today. Astrid Young, thank you very much for coming in.
pleasure.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks for having me.
AstridYoung.net for more information. And let's finish up with some more music from
Okay.
Astrid right now.
Kiss, that's gonna set you free. You gotta believe in something.